Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing really well. My name is Ravi Mehta. I'm a partner with Deloitte, been with the firm for 16 years. My passion in life is to, integrate technology with human capabilities. And that's where I think GCCs play a very, very important role. They have the right technology capabilities, they have the right people capabilities, and I personally believe they are, going to be a huge change agent in digitally evolving the global economy. Today, I have the pleasure of moderating a session with two of the finest leaders in GCC sector in India. I'll request them to introduce themselves. Sangita, over to you, and then Gopa, followed by you, and then we can have a good conversation for 20 odd minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Hello to all the audience. Really delighted to be part of this session with Ravi and Gopa. I'm Sangita. I'm part of HSBC. I lead our Bangalore GCC Center, which is one of the largest, in fact, close to 11,000 colleagues, and one of the largest business unit, which is global payments, COE across the world, ins and out, all the payments. I carry investment banking experience too from my past. And likewise, Ravi, quite excited to lead and innovate in our centers because I think that's core of everything we do today.
Thank you, Sangita. And we'll come to that. I'll pick up on that cue. Gopa, over to you. Quick introduction, please.
Hey, thanks, Ravi. Thanks to the ET and Times Group. Great to be. Been 2 years you've been at your working from laptop. Great to be in sessions like these where you get to meet a lot more people. Gopakumar Subramonian, I head the issuing and acquiring technologies for Fiserv. Fiserv is a leading fintech providing payments, core banking, credit card solutions globally. I am based in Chennai and I've had a long association with GCCs across Standard Chartered Bank, Credit Suisse, now with Fiserv. Prior to that, I was a banker. I used to be a trader, ran operations. I've done the whole 9 years in banking. Again, great to be here. And thanks very much.
Thank you, Gopa. Thank you so much. So let me, quickly set the stage. With the topic for this is around digital transformation and how GCCs can play a role in this. Right? If you look at the word transformation, I often joke that it is among the three most used and abused words in the corporate world. The other two being strategy and value. If you look at the etymology of the word, the transform really means transform, going beyond the current form. Although we know that it is easier said than done. The world economy right now is going to spend around $1.5 trillion in digitally transforming itself. Sangita, let me ask you this question. Considering how important it is for us to create a new scaffolding of digital technologies to support the evolution of the sector, especially in the financial services, do you think GCCs have a role to play? And in that, what is the role HSBC is playing and what is the spectrum of things that you're seeing in that?
Thanks, Ravi. Brilliant question. In fact, something which is running in everybody's mind, and there's so much we can learn from each other's experience. So, if I come across in terms of GCC across financial sectors, we've had really exciting evolution over the last 2 decades. And I'm really glad that's exactly the time I entered into the banking world. So I have been seeing this evolution throughout my career as well. And from being cost arbitrage center, mainly focused on cost for repetitive tasks and low value business processes to shifting into digital transformation center. One of the example I would give you is when we were looking at operations is at the heart of everything we do at the bank, right? That needs to be done absolutely rightfully, and you can't continue to do what you did 20 years before. So even we have actually changed name of our operations department from erstwhile host, HSBC operations to digital business service. Because when we evolved in terms of when we checked what we are doing today, what we are contributing, it was absolutely apt that we looked at our naming convention as well internally in terms of what we contribute. And that's just to give example of how our journey has been so far. Again, providing a day-to-day business support alongside, but more on developing agile capabilities for research, development, innovation, and business transformation. I think that's where our journey is, and that's where we are. From streamlining automation of the processes, advancing towards unveiling of research, analysis, again, shifting from almost all of us have seen our banking journey, that how we have evolved and changed from legacy platforms to the cloud, usage of cloud now, and leveraging digital technologies across everything what we deliver and what we do. If I highlight few of the strategic imperatives for our success, one of the important aspect of that is playing a vital role in transformation of the processes and service delivery. And if I give some examples of what I have seen and done within our centers and also globally on the payment side, total shift in terms of mindset, right? Where we used to be delivery mindset, that you execute what comes and what is given to you, to complete outcome on orientation and oriented mindset. An example being, one of the latest example is almost 266 strategic automation projects we have delivered just out of our GSC centers. If I talk about payments, globally now each and every bank is working on ISO 2022 program. We have some of the strategic partners like yourself helping on those programs as well. Those are completely led and executed from our GCC centers. That's another example. So there are a lot of tools. If I talk about mortgage as a journey or conversation banking, you know, again, complete evolution from traditional call center to the conversation banking. The starting of conversation banking and the changes which has happened in Bangalore. The entire transformation team is based out here, and the usage of and adoption of conversation banking in terms of our day to day also. Our contact center colleagues who used to take traditional calls now are actually using those tools to solve for any customer journey and any challenges and problems which customers would have. Any changes which are happening in the bank related to mobile application are actually happening in our GCC center. All those changes and even the decision making, some of the ideas, some of the new apps and techniques which we have introduced recently, I can see that journey has began, and journey and decision making is happening in our GCC center. If I just add few more bits in terms of leading the organization through digital disruptions. Again, one of the example, and Gopa started saying that COVID now it's become part and parcel of life. I hope that the next time when we meet, we almost try to forget what had happened in the last 2 years. But everybody thinks that COVID was biggest disruption. Did you know while COVID was happening within the last 2 years, we would have seen more than 50 BCP scenarios across our BCP centers. Sometime the countries facing tsunami kind of issue, or sometime political disruptions, etc. And our GCC centers have managed that so effectively with either zero impact or a very minimal impact. The customers weren't impacted because of whatever was happening in the past. So I think that's again a very, very solid example. These changes, these capabilities cannot be handled if you are only having the mindset of delivery. This is happening because we have evolved through this growth mindset, and where our colleagues are absolutely future ready. One of the last example I would like to share, Ravi, where I think we had Deloitte also one of the partners along with us. We launched digital transformation symposium even amid COVID last year in October. Within a GSC, again, this was completely our own brainchild. We call it Digitra 21, and I'm already working on Digitra 22. Through the digital transformation symposium, we had our startups, strategic partners like yourself, and our own colleagues who have come up with some great ideas and thoughts, which now became a really long-term strategy for the bank, actually giving demo and sharing those best practices with all our colleagues within the GCC sectors. So these are just examples, Ravi, and I'm really, really delighted that we have walked this journey really, really fast.
No, thank you, Sangita, and I completely concur that the last 2 years showed what we are made of. It's the adversities that really reveal the true nature of us, and kudos to all the leaders like you. There was no playbook. There were a lot of BCP SOPs, but there is no playbook that tells you how to deal with completely unexpected scenarios, right? So I'm really, really happy that you have done it. You used the word mindset, and I'll probably use that to request Gopa to come in. Mindset shifts are probably the hardest shifts that one can imagine. No school teaches you that. No school teaches you that. How do you make it happen? And Gopa, while I request you to come, tell us a bit about what Fiserv has done, and specifically about how you managed to achieve that mind shift change. And Sangita, I'll request you to also add to that post what Gopa has said. Because I think that will be a fulcrum challenge for us to deal with, is how do we get this mind shift change from what we call as doer thinkers to more like, doer optimizers to thinker influencers and leaders. It's an easier said than done. Gopa, your thoughts on that?
Thanks, Ravi. And I was struck by something Sangita said about moving from delivery thinking to outcome thinking. And I think that's an important. Now, if you look at the last 20 years where GCC started, we know, basic production support or transaction input and the like. It's a big shift that's already happened. And I think so. The momentum for that mind shift change is started building. And I think one of the biggest assets we have is our people. So I think the people we have, whether it's people who've been in the journey for a long time or the new batch of people who are coming fresh out of engineering institutes and the like, I think not to sound patronizing, but absolutely bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, right? The energy, the passion to learn to do more, a kind of startup entrepreneurial mindset, I think is growing in the Indian ecosystem. And I think it's up to all of us at GCCs to build on that and provide the opportunities to continue to build more influencers and thinkers rather than doers. So I think first one is build on the people we have, the asset we have. And every time I meet, we have a program that we call TAP, where we hire people from colleges, fresh graduates. And within 3 months, by 3 months, in 1 month, they hit the ground running, bubbling with ideas. They are more up to speed on new technologies, self-taught. I think, most global organizations have a minimum training that we expect people to do. 5 days a year, 10 days a year. We blow way past that. So people are interested in training, people participate in all relevant info sharing sessions. And I think as GCCs, our role is to look, and we do this, look at what are the technologies that are coming up that is required for our businesses, for our clients, and then making sure we have learning paths and career paths that people are able to sign up to and continue to upskill them. So channeling this energy that the people bring in, I think is a big part of growing that, I'm going to use your word again, influencer, thinker mindset. And we have a kind of catalyst there. We have in Fiserv Global Services, our GCC in India, we have centers of excellence around cloud, around automation, around mobile technologies, which act as special consultants and accelerate this mindset growth. And all this makes this, and for want of a better word, an inevitable component of the larger company's technology strategy. So if you're talking of technology that the GCCs provide, and this makes a compelling case for the GCCs to be part of the journey and play a significant role, not just in execution, but in contributing to the thinking. And a couple of other things I think are important to again grow this mindset. I think one is having more global roles out of the GCCs. So you're closer to the business and the client, so you have roles, and we know that that's going. I was in a session last week where there was a slide up with many photographs of people in GCCs who are playing global roles. And there was a tiny sample. That's one. And the other key thing that we are focused on is bringing the client and the market closer to the engineering organization. How are we doing that? I think for many years there was this conception that product management organizations need to be in the market and close to the client, where so if it's a US client or a US business, product management could only be done there. We know that that is shifting significantly. So for our strategic products, we are building product management capability in our GCC in India. Number one, it allows our businesses, not the technology groups, the businesses to have product management capability organizations, large ones that they can rely on to drive the business. But the other big plus is you have the engineering organization and the product organization sitting next to each other, provides rich context to the engineering or development organization on the work they are doing, allows the product management organization to better contribute to the technology. So another powerful mix to drive the strategy for the larger company. So I think we a ball has been set rolling. I think all the GCCs are on the spectrum somewhere there. Some of us are ahead, some of us are catching up. But I think this move from doer to influencer is on an inexorable path.
Thank you, Gopa, and what a beautiful answer. I think that journey from doer to influencer is important. Unfortunately, it is not inevitable. That depends on what we actually choose to do or not do at this stage. And you mentioned some really good things about how at least what I thought the COVID has taught us is that space is not as important a concept as it used to be. Now you can do things from anywhere, right? Earlier there was a constraint around, hey, certain types of work need to be done in GCC and certain types of work need to be done closer to customer. Sangita, I wanted to, Gopa touched upon product and technology. One of the things that we really need for digital transformation also is the business domain knowledge. And the secret sauce is how do you really bring it together? Gopa touched upon some centers of excellence around technologies. Wanted to ask you about your perspective on if you really want GCCs to play a pivotal role in digitally transforming their organizations and the world economy. How do we really bring the domain and the technology together? And especially from a perspective of HSBC, because you've been here for such a long time, you've developed some good capabilities.
Thanks, Ravi. So, as we keep talking about GCC, I think the definition which is there in a lot of colleagues' mind is it's an operation center. But actually, when we set it up, and if you look at the most mature GCCs, and if we take an example of HSBC itself, we have tech, transformation, innovation, and operations, everything together. And if we do in the context of India, most of our countries have this combination together, but more so in India, we are almost equal size in number, Ravi. The tech centers are as big as our operations center, and it's literally we are sharing the same space. So there is no separate agenda which we have to drive that tech is this or operations is this. I think we are already co-located in most of the locations and we are working closely. So I think that gives us a very good cutting edge and advantage over others where the journey is a bit slower. So that's just in terms of where we are and what we are doing. Using that advantage, and I gave this example of ISO 2022 program, right? Right from the program resources to the project resources to ops readiness resources to the decision makers and the tech executors and tech channel and our strategic partners as well. Everybody is in India. Major part of it. We do have global footprint and spread. I would say 80% exists here and led from here and decided from here. Again, that's another example on practically how we are doing it. But some of the, again, not every program and every department would be at that maturity and scale, Ravi. I think we had spoken about that in the past as well, that it's a journey and it also depends on the large transformation and change program agenda which is made available sometime. And sometime that idea comes because you are partnering with the CEOs of specific countries and looking at what is their growth and revenue strategy and how can a GSC center from HSBC can partner and really see, okay, what are your top 2 or 3 agenda items for growth? How can I partner and take it to the next level? And I think there comes the product and services knowledge. Unless in the agile format, all these teams sit together and look at end-to-end journey, I think it's one thing to dream that we will double our value proposition in 2 years, but it's another thing that you have to start the journey pretty much immediately. And I think GSCs have to be core to that because, without GSCs, that journey is incomplete. Ultimately, the customer care about how you service them. And if I come back to my own, functional hat, everybody cares about money. Did I get it on time? Was this executed? Do I have self-service capability? As a customer, can I do everything by myself, right? We all knew historically, every bank had been trying to increase the straight-through processing and wanted more self-service from customers' perspective. And the uptick was very slow, Ravi. But as soon as COVID came, lot of positives, and one of the largest positive was there was a 400% uptick in the first 6 months itself, because our client relationship teams weren't necessarily selling at that point in time, but they were actually, we are using that group to reach out to the customers and help them that without walking into branches, without meeting a relationship manager, how can you self-serve help yourself? And I think core to that journey, the backbone was our GSC. And this is how we evolved through all of the stages, not only in digital transformation, excellence, innovation, and leadership and development as well. I think plays a very, very vital role, that how do you make these SME and product roles one of the most important roles which you widely speak. As much as the large leadership roles are important, equally some of the product management roles are equally important, because those are actually lot is in stake when it comes to those roles.
I totally agree, Sangita. And I'll probably ask one last question to Gopa, but I thought you said it really well. I think what we value is what we end up getting. And in the past we have valued how many people we manage. I think the time has come to value what we are going to contribute. And I always say this, we have the choice, fundamental choice we have is that whether we'll like to continue to be defined by our size, or rather by the size of the impact we are creating. And it's a very small play of words with a huge significant outcome for us, right? So that's where I thought, I think the way you said it really well. Gopa, I think our last 2 minutes, and then I'll sum it up. How is Fiserv doing this? How are you creating that secret sauce of bringing the domain? And I think Sangita mentioned about the curiosity element, that growth mindset about going to the CEO, regional CEOs, understanding what their agenda is, trying to figure out how GSCs can fit in. That, I think, is the leader mindset. That's not the doer mindset. That's the influencer mindset, right? For that, you have to do things that you have not done before. Tell us about what Fiserv is doing to make that happen, to bring that domain and the product and the technology together to do something that probably no other part of the organization can do better than GSC.
And just to add to the points Sangita made, and I think she covered them very well. I think number one, a lot of the GCCs are microcosms of the larger organization. There's nowhere else in the company where across regions, across businesses, it's all under one virtual roof, under one leadership. So there's a great opportunity here to get businesses to talk to each other. There are very often integration challenges, one product face to the customer challenges. So the ability of the GCCs to solve some of those long, sometimes not even recognized problems, offering one face to the customer or one product suite to the customer, the ability is significant. I think some of the things that we need to do, and this is not rocket science, but getting groups to talk to each other, as I said in the earlier piece, that making sure we cultivate the energy and enthusiasm in getting people to learn, understand the business and the like. The other piece I think is very powerful, and I'll say this again, building product management capability in our GCCs gets them so much closer. So our product management teams are engaged in product strategy, pre-sales discussions with the clients and the like. That is very powerful in building, and then cycle engineers through product management and cycle product management where there is capability through engineering. That's powerful. And one more thing I'd like to call out is we have a program called BIG, a Business Innovation Group. There was BIG 1.0, this year we're running BIG 2.0, where we go to the global business leaders and ask them for market product opportunities that they want to turn into reality. And we pick those up. We go through a process of selecting a kind of SWOT groups of people. They are assigned these. They are given deep dive sessions on product, markets, clients. Then they are presented this problem statement, and then they're asked to come up with a solution. So that's running very well. What it does achieve is potentially out of the ideas that are there, a certain percentage actually become go-to-market ideas that generate revenue. That's great. But the other part of it is this group of people and in the larger organization all have a much more focused business mindset, and the kind of trainings and sessions we create around this are then made available to the larger organization for them to get closer to business. So these are some of the things we are looking at to get technology and business or domain much closer together.
Thank you, Gopa. I know we're out of time. We can have this conversation forever. It's always really nice. In summary, I'll tell you this. I think the part that GCCs are on is an absolutely incredible, and it's a really important path, because the economy of tomorrow will be built on the bedrock of digital technologies, and nobody knows those technologies better than what we do in India. The key is to change the mindset, like what both Sangita and Gopal told. Universities will not teach us that. It is the adversities that we face in our life that actually teach us. And the best example I have of the changing mindset, because one of the things we keep hearing from a lot of GCCs, not a few at least, is that look, we don't have a seat at the table, and hence we are not able to really partner in digital transformation. I'll leave all of you with this. Neeraj Chopra never said that I'm from Haryana, I don't have good facilities, and hence I cannot win an Olympic medal. He said, I'll find a way to live that dream and make that dream a reality. And in the process, without him even trying to, inspire a lot of people to not look at what they lack, but look at what they can create, new possibilities. And I think that's what the promise of GCC is. Thank you so much, Sangita and Gopa. What a pleasure to talk to all of you, and I hope the audience found it useful. Thank you. Over back to you.